I'm Chase Locke. I'm an artist, and today just gonna bring you through a few brands of paint, spray paint, and just a little tutorial if anybody wants to get out there and paint. These are some of the companies. So say you have Molotov Belton. You know, this is one of my favorite paints. It's got good coverage, and I love the feel. I love the feel of the valve and how it delivers the paint. For this one, this company right here is pretty self-explanatory. It's pretty badass. We move on to Iron Lac. Whew. So put that one back. That one's jumping on me. So this guy here, it's actually one of my favorite colors as well. It's a beauty. But it's a high pressure can and gloss. I've always loved this paint because of the high pressure, and I do like the gloss. I feel like, you know, when you get into the Montanas and everything like that, it's more or less matte finish, you know, for the most part, because everyone's can probably use 94s. So this paint I've always truly loved. It's always been my favorite. So Iron Lac, good valves. I haven't had any clogging issues with this, so big fan of Iron Lac. Then we'll move over here to just might as well just dabble into some of these guys here. So we got like what do we have, a 94 low pressure. It's this paint right here is kind of a go-to for basically every single artist. Like, this is kind of the staple, in my opinion. And it's matte, obviously, low pressure, very good coverage, and also certain colors too don't cover as well. You know, say if you have like a yellow, you know, like this right here, this Iron Lac yellow right here, this is gonna cover for shit, you know, not compared to say like this yellow. You know, you can tell the difference, obviously, and this is going to cover way better than this.
Why is that?
That's just because of the pigment. That's the color. Like that's actually what this color is actually made for. That's almost in a bad example, but because you really can't kind of compare the two, because this formula right here is actually made to almost be like have a little bit of like transparency in it. You know, it's more or less watery. And what do we have? We have fresh paint here. I've loved this paint because it will come out thick, but the valves clog like crazy. I've always had problems with the valves, and this can in particular, like this is one of their older valves. I've heard they've actually made a newer valve, which is better. So this can in particular is the older valve, and I've always had problems with these clogging. And then obviously your tips, those will clog on all the time. If you know, shake your paint. Simple as that. And then we have the gold Montana Gold acrylics, which you're not gonna have any problem with this at all. Like, this is kind of a go-to for, I think, everyone. And if you're doing studio work, then this is definitely a go-to. Work on the street, I would not use it, but some people do. I personally wouldn't. But yeah, I've never seen a Montana Gold clog ever in my life. So, and obviously you got the good Rustos, you can't go wrong with that. That's obvious. Everybody knows Rust-Oleum. If you don't know Rusto, then you don't belong. Just shut the video off right now if you don't know what Rust-Oleum is. Let's see here, what else we got? Let's go over to the big dogs. The turbos. So now we're talking. This is the goods right here. You know, stops rust. What else would you want? You know, so this right here, I'm surprised they haven't discontinued them because of all the graffiti writers that are gonna take them all and just destroy the city. I feel like that's what they're made for. But yeah, I mean, and then also like Iron Lac, there's a branch off of Iron Lac that is called Sugar, which is low pressure and it's matte. And I like Sugar as well, but I still prefer, this is my favorite paint. I can say that proudly. Iron Lac, always. And these are the old cans too. The new ones are all black. And I've never ever I've never not had a great time painting with iron lac. So, and I do love the high pressure. Some people like low pressure. I'm a high pressure kind of guy. So,
what's the difference?
It's this, will you press this down right here, this little rascal? Shit's gonna come out fast. And under pressure, it's pretty obvious what that means, but maybe.
What's the resulting spray?
You're gonna have, a lot of it's gonna be, if you don't have can control, or if you're a rookie, we got some sirens coming here, but if you're, basically you gotta be kind of more skilled. If you're gonna use this, not just for filling, you got to use it for, if you use it for like detail work and everything like that, you have to have good can control, and good throttle control. I call it throttle control, but can control and valve control and everything. It's just, you got to be able to rock it, If you can't rock it, then go low pressure, because me personally, I can use this can for filling. You're going to want high pressure filling because it's spitting out more paint at a fast rate, and you can cover more quickly. And so I use this personally for everything if I can, and if it's in grab's reach, and other than that, like low pressure, if you're filling with low pressure, like say you're doing graffiti, and you're trying to fill, you're gonna have a big old fat cap on there, which you'd have anyway, but it's just not the same feeling. Like you can't feel it. Like when you spray one of these high pressure cans, iron lac cans, you can feel it, and it just feels so damn good. There's nothing that I would like even any more than iron lac. And the coverage of this paint is second to none. So huge fan of iron lac. And obviously going back to the Molotow, this is obviously you could use this on fucking anything, like anything you want. You can, but this also has insanely good coverage, like, that's just, I don't know, honestly, it's all really good paint, to be honest with you. It's all good paint. It's all personal preference of what you're using it for. If you're using it for the streets, or if you're using it in canvas work, or what are you using it for? That's the biggest thing. Some are less to fade, in sun over time, and some fade more, so it's just one of those things to where it's all personal preference. I recommend grabbing at least one of each brand if you can, or like order them online, or do whatever you got to do to get it, and try each one out and see what works best for you. But for me personally, I like that fast pace. I like that the graffiti style stuff. So, I've loved that high pressure, and it, for, I guess I call it throttle control, just because like that's just what makes sense to me, is throttle control. So like with these, again, it's the moment you have to have so much control with this, it's just, if you just, like on a low pressure can, you have more room for error. You have to be so precise. If you're doing like detail work on these, iron lacs, high pressure, you got to be on point. Like you're gonna get drips super quick if you don't have the fast movements and you don't have the control of the valve. So once again, like I said, test them all out, see what you like. Honestly, shit, Walmart specials all day, 99-cent cans, flat blacks. But see, we got some rustos up here. Down with the rustos always, but and then you got the ultra wide, from Montana, that's a whole lot of fun right there. That's insane fun right there. That's just a whole different level. But yeah, that can right there can do some damage. But it's I prefer to use the Rust-Oleums and, I guess what people would say, the shittier paint, because I feel it's more challenging. Like once you start getting to these paints here, it's such a high quality paint that it becomes not necessarily a challenge too much anymore. And when you work with, say, like a Walmart special, like 99-cent can, flat black, you know, if you're trying to do like detail work and everything, not just a tag, you know, or anything like that, it takes experience and takes time. You got to pay your dues, you know, if you want to make it look proper, you know. So I don't know. It's just every paint to me is used for a different purpose. I mean, all of this, what they say, artist paint, quote unquote, which is basically for graffiti writers. Everybody knows that, and it should be, you know, just what it is. And it's just a good way to say not to get in jail or some shit like that. But yeah, you know, I have the hardcore, which I love the hardcore. It just, to me, it becomes a little watery, personally, but still a high pressure can and gloss, which I like. Honestly, that's really kind of low down. I mean,
what's the difference between gloss and matte?
Well, if you don't know the difference between gloss and matte, then that's ridiculous. But I mean,
You're talking to children.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I mean, the difference between gloss and matte is just it's a matte finish for matte, you know, like a dull finish, and then gloss is obviously glossy. It's super simple. And yeah, and then also some cans have different valves in them, you know, like I said before, like the fresh paint, this is the older valve, which would tend to clog a lot, you know, if you didn't. And also too, like say you have a can and you already sprayed, so you're spraying, and once you're done, turn it upside down and hold this, spray it until it becomes no paint anymore, and then you cleared your valve. So then that cleared the valve and your cap too, if you want to reuse that cap on there. So that will also make things not clog, but not many people have time for that, to do that all the time. And also people think it's wasting paint too, but if you want to reuse the can and you reuse the tip, then it's kind of a necessity if it's going to sit for a while, you know. But otherwise you'll probably end up having it be clogged. And obviously over time, you know, it's gotten so much better. Like the quality's gotten so much better, the valves have gotten better, like everything has gotten so much better, the formula of paint, everything. So, you know, if you're gonna buy any one of these companies, any one of these brands, you're gonna be happy. And like, there's no way possible that you won't be happy. So, but once again, my personal favorite is the Iron Lac high pressure gloss. That's my personal favorites. But you know, like I said, like this right here, you know, the golds, those are acrylic. So normally a lot of people, and also Montana has a water-based paint, so it has no really scent, you know, so you can use that in your studio if you're doing this whole studio thing. That's good. The water-based from Montana is really, really good. I like that water-based actually more than most paints. It's so incredible. And yeah, I think that's really all I have to really say about these old cans of bullshit here. There we go. What do we got here? Premium quality, ultra glass. There she is. Oh shit. That's about it.